Welcome to the show. Welcome back, everybody. I'm gonna give a few minutes, see who comes in. It would be helpful if I pulled up the chat. There we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, to the podcast, to everything. Still working on a few things as far as like visuals. So I just want to quickly thank the sponsors. I don't have anything to read this week, but Jobber, VETO Pro Pack, DIVERSITECH, and our new sponsors, AIREX, CallRail, and Resideo. And also go check out HVAC Nights if you haven't yet. Appreciate everybody coming in. Jason Johnson, Practical Gadgets here. Mechanical Environments. Jamie, Froggy, what is up, everybody? How is everybody doing? Just checking in, going live. Gonna try and squeeze in a few of these before AHR. So at the AHR Expo, if anybody's in Orlando, I know I said it a bunch in my last video. I'll be there podcasting. That's where technically the new episodes will start. So over there in Orlando, we're gonna start up the podcast. Before then we're gonna go live. Yes, it's live. That's live. It's alive. Let me fix this real quick. I'll put that right there. It is live, Jason. So what is up? Like I said, we're starting up the podcast. I am like booked now for the expo. Gonna be running around doing all that stuff, podcasting and kicking off things there. Like I said, prior to that, we're gonna start doing these little live streams, see how many I can get squeezed in, and just kind of catch up with you guys, hang out. I'm on both channels. Which reminds me, Jason, if you guys didn't know, the reason I simulcast it is if you guys didn't know, I have a podcast channel. So a lot of people in the chat have been on that podcast. I appreciate all my guests, all the sponsors, all that stuff. So if you're on the Reliable HVAC channel, don't forget to subscribe to the Reliable Podcast YouTube channel as well. And you can also listen, like it says up there, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere else that you listen to. So make sure you check that out. What is up, Ethan? So what's up with everybody? How's everybody doing? Like, how's work been? I think we got enough people in here. I've finally slowed down. We're doing maintenance now, and I feel like I'm a broken record now, but I think we've turned into now a big maintenance company. So ice machines coming up, and then ACs are going to be coming up, and sprinkled in with some little work here and there. I just did an ice machine repair the other day as well. Of course you didn't. That's why we're here today explaining that we have a podcast channel. So go check it out. Froggy, Eddie, Ethan. Mechanical Environments. We had an Arctic blast on the way, expecting -10. I am so glad I'm not up there around this time. I think I went when it was like 20. That was cold enough for me. And that's up there. -10 is up there in Denver. Yeah, I get a lot of these little freezes and snowstorms up there. I slowed down too because I'm retired, Eddie. Yeah. So we've actually hired another person. I don't know if I think we talked about it on nights. And the whole thing this year is train up a couple of more techs so that maybe we can, me and my pops can take like a little, I wouldn't want to say a back seat, but we can kind of slow things down a little bit and not work as hard, right? Just teach the new guys. Hope you all ain't slow for too long. It's been weird, at least for me. I don't know if anybody else said they're slow, but usually after September, October, it is really slow. And this past year was the first time that it never slowed down. I had I had a bunch of refrigeration calls. So like, I mean, that's a good thing about doing a few things. If you can learn more, you're more valuable, or your company can do more, or they can put you out on more calls, because we are always busy with something. So the hot side stays busy all year round. That's a big part of our company. Without the hot side, we wouldn't be as successful or get through some of these droughts prior to last year, because like last year was really good. And that's helped us along the way, where one would slow down, the other one would keep up, and vice versa. But this year it's just like, I do HVAC and refrigeration. So I had like, as soon as summer stopped and we had our 50s, our cold fronts, um, I had walk-ins here and there. I got installs to do. Like I said, I was working on ice machines and stuff like that, and trying to help out the other guys get through some other calls. So we're still staying busy. Like, we've been doing really good in 2024. And then our whole thing is like, we've been steadily increasing as far as like profits, and the amount of calls, and anybody that we've lost prior to that, customer wise, like they've all come back, because the grass isn't always greener on the other side, and as long as you do good work, the calls will come. So that's why we're trying to get some help now that it's been you know at a decent pace for a few years. Like, it's steadily growing. Okay, cool, we can start hiring people, and having them make us more money, because we might be expanding our service area, because we deal with a lot of national chains. So like, we deal with a lot of national chains, so they have locations that are like more than 2 hours away, because usually we service about 2 hours each, east and west. And if they have something that's further, we don't we turn it down a lot. And not that, I mean, they ask us like crazy to go out there, but we turn it down a lot. So eventually we're probably gonna expand our service area to where maybe we go out like 3 hours out or 4 hours out. And that's where the young guys come in, because a couple that want to work for us, they're ready to do the travel, and they're cool with it. They'll get paid for it. Do you help out? Do you help techs out in the field? What's the fee? Have you commented before? Because like, somebody told me I need to do tech support. I don't do tech support for other companies. Not that I don't want to. If I have a buddy that needs help, that's cool. We have group chats. If you guys need any help, check out our Discord. The link should be in the description. Check out our Discord. We have an HVAC Nights Discord, and some people will help each other out or ask questions if you're in there. As far as like me helping you in real time, I'm bad about answering my phone, and usually I'm pretty busy, so I will help. It just might take me a while to answer your call. First time. We'll see. Like I said, check out the Discord. We talk a lot in there, and I try to have sections for questions and advice, and if you guys need help. There's plenty of other guys that are way smarter than I am. What is up, Brian? What are you up to? Here, finally. 34 degrees outside. It is 50. It's still 50 here. I mean, that's all of us. I still screw up on the smallest things. Sure shot. I appreciate the kind words. I am not going to the symposium. That would have been a really cool thing, but I'm already going out. I forgot what days those are, but you have to be out there for like a week and a half to make everything. I just wouldn't be able to. That is a goal of mine. I don't know if you're from that area, because I know that one's always in Florida. I don't know if it's in Orlando. I know it's always in Florida, but that's a goal of mine to do that another time. I'm trying to get the AHR stuff out of the way. Like I said, I have a lot of commitments this year. So you'll find me at DIVERSITECH, at the booth for them, for Amber Controls. Copeland's hit me up. I just got some emails from LG and Ream, and it's a lot. So I'm going to just stick to that and kind of just podcast. That's what everybody wants right now. So that's what we're doing. Yeah, man, that's what it's all about. You were a computer guy, practical gadgeteer. I've seen you on plenty channels helping, and that's cool. So, and I appreciate you in the Discord. Let's see. Oh, so you'll be at AHR. So I'll be there. I'm going to be there Saturday and Sunday for the award show, and then Monday and Tuesday, and then I leave Wednesday morning. I will be podcasting Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. if you guys can make it there. From what I'm told, it is right outside the event. Like you don't need to get in because it doesn't open till 10. But I'm podcasting at 9. So if you guys are there if you can make it at 9 in the morning, you can watch it. Because from what they told me, I forget how it works, but the podcast pavilion is like right outside of the enclosed space, I guess. So you guys can just get in and kind of watch that. We'll be doing some announcements and things like that. On Monday is where the party will be, because on Monday we have a Monday afternoon spot at 2 p.m. The HVAC Nights will be with me, and we're gonna do our show at the podcast pavilion. So Monday at 2, you can catch me, Jake, and Kurt over at the podcast pavilion. And then Wednesday morning, I'm gonna have some guests, and we're gonna talk about like younger guys in the trade and generations of the trade, and kind of that kind of conversation with some announcements. And I'll get into more of that as we get closer. But I got some things to share with you guys. Week long training. That must be nice. Best Anthony Montoya says best veto bag for residential HVAC troubleshooting. Any answers? I think Gadgeteer. The PCLC, SBLD. Are you talking about the TPLC? My personal one would be the SBLD. If you want a small, compact tool bag that can handle most of your hand tools, and then have that little back piece or that back pouch where you can put a meter and a drill. I put a drill in there, an impact, and it fits with the meter. And then the front can be for all your hand tools, your probes, anything like that. And you have everything in that bag. So for me, it would be the TPLC. Now, if you want to see what they have coming out this year, they do have some changes. What was that other one? There's a new one coming out, but it doesn't have that back pouch. That back pouch, I think, is super important for your meter storage. And if you want to drill or something else that's that kind of size, the SBLD has that in it. Yeah, if you want a bigger bag, like if you want everything that you can get with you, the Tech MCT is a good one too. That's the one that has a hard bottom base too. It's a little bit bigger and it opens on both sides. So you get double the storage and you can just pack it up. There's so many good ones, and they have so many coming out this year. If you guys Oh, that's a good question, Anthony. But if you guys are interested in like what they're coming out with, I did a video on it, but they have a whole bunch of new bags coming out. So like how Megan mentioned the Tech MCT, there's like a infrared version of that now that has like extra loops if you guys like to, you know, clip bags and stuff on them, like on the sides, or all these little extra things that you want to clip on, you can do that now too. And it's black and red. So if that had been a thing before, I probably would have bought that. But for going on roofs, because if you're a residential tech, you can get away with a lot. You can get away with the TP, or what were we talking about? The SBLD. You can get away with the OC, the open, a lot of the open top bags you can get away with if you're a residential tech, which I'm jealous because I love a lot of those bags. They just don't work for me because I'm a rooftop tech. For going on roofs, the GOAT to me is always going to be the MB3. It doesn't have that organization for your individual tools, but you can pack it out pretty well. And the little hack that I did was like, if you can buy those, there are the little inserts that come on the MB5B and the, I think the TP double XL. I don't know if they come with it, but they're meant for it. For those big meter pouches on the side, there's a little insert that holds only two like screwdrivers, but putting that in the MB3, kind of wedging it in there, makes sure you don't at least lose a couple of screwdrivers, because the only thing with the MB3 is it's a free for all. You're just going to put it in there and everything's going to fall to the bottom basically. But it's enclosed. It's really good. If you want something a little bit bigger, the TP double XL is good. Or what's the other one? The TP LD, I think, is like the smaller version, but the TP double XL, the TP XL2 is enclosed, so you don't spill your tools. That's my only concern with the open top. But MB3 is my meter bag, yeah, or probe bag. I put the probes on the side, and I have no issues. The TP double XL carries everything, but it can get quite a bit heavy. That was the one that I was using before I went back to an MB3 because the MB3 blackout came out. Brian over here, rooftop MB6B, which is another good one. And his hot side bag is the SBLD or the TP double XL. The TPLD blackout. That's the other one I was thinking about. Let me go back through the chat because I'm getting lost. Oh, the flights. Everybody's talking about their flights. Waiting to see if ticket prices drop. I at one point I bought my ticket to, I don't know if it was Chicago or Atlanta. I bought it like 8 months out, and it got changed and delayed so many times, like leading up to it, and it got worse. Gotta love the hose hauler. If you don't have a hose hauler, wait for the blackout. That one's really cool. And that's why Jason says, you know, you can do everything out of your MB3. It is, in my eyes, the GOAT. That is the one that is I always go back to. My dad has one of them, still carries around in his van in his open bag. Quick in and out. I was in an attic today and I had my MB3 too. Matt's bag is so stupid heavy. I want to compare the weights of our bags. Yeah, once he mentioned the TP double XL, I was like, I tried it and it got too heavy. Most people overpack their bags, yeah. Let me see if I can go back through the chat because we had some questions. What is everybody up to? Everybody in maintenance season, heating season, what are y'all doing? I know Matt and Megan, if I ask you guys are still doing cooling, so I understand that. Where do we begin? We had a whole list of VETO bags that everybody recommended. Yeah, let's see. I think I'm finally catching up to the chat. Robert, sorry if I missed you. He's sitting in HVAC class right now. Shouldn't be watching this live stream if you're in class. So hopefully you're doing well in class. Oh, I can imagine you guys over there getting the -10 and all the calls that are going to come through. Good idea, right? Monthly purge, clean out your tool bag and make sure you don't have anything in there that you don't need. Anything that, and I have to do that every now and then because I lose screws and wire connectors and all this stuff at the bottom of the bags, and I have to go in every now and then, empty it out, flip it over, and see what got lost in there. And I like to keep it simple too. Jason, not use 80% of your, yeah, if you load up your bag, you're not going to even use like half of it. So I just like a couple of multi-purpose tools, multi-tools, a meter, and lately I've been carrying the drill, even though I probably shouldn't need to. Yeah, Dante, that's happened to me before because I had like for me, what I took out was a right angle attachment for my drill. And I was like, I haven't used it in forever. I don't need it. It's just like a thing that sometimes you need it, emergency type of deal. And then right after that, I took it out. Right the next day, I needed that right angle, and I was on a roof that was like super hot, super far away. I had to walk all the way back to the van just to get it. Chillers, I don't envy you whatsoever. I think it's really cool what you do, but I would never. I'm gonna stay in my lane. I do really good in the kitchen refrigeration world, and we do really well. I'm not gonna. They have chillers at the hospital, and they always ask us if we can do like other kind of work. I was like, no, like I'm here for your kitchen. Show me the walk-ins, show me the reach-ins and the ice machines, and that's what I'm gonna work on. Viper wipes will clean your tool bags. I've used them to clean like my field piece stuff and the bags, and I even use them to scrub down the van here and there. Adding surge protectors and mini splits. I got a mini split that I'm still trying to put in. I haven't had the time. Yeah, as soon as I said it, I was like, yeah, get back in the kitchen. Y'all can keep that. We're gonna get like 80 degrees on the weekend. That's just, where I'm at. Not dealing with 20s or the teens. Um, 19 is too cold. I still have no cooling calls. Well, for me, in the actual, you know, AC work, not the chiller stuff. As soon as it gets into the 50s, nobody runs any cooling, any heating or anything. It's just like turn off the AC, let it cool the house for free, the weather, and then you don't worry about it. That's why we don't get calls, and that's why I said if you can do more than just one specific, like I can stay in my niche of like kitchen refrigeration and stuff, but I don't just do like ice machines. I don't just do coolers and freezers. I don't just do um, AC units. I do them all with the intent of going in there and then having like, several calls or several things to do there. Plus maintenance. That's a big thing for us now, as annoying as it is. I carry tools in my suitcase. Let me tell you what, VETO might have a suitcase coming out. They might actually have one. I don't even chime in on the weather. What is it over there? Is it like 80s, 70s? What is it in Hawaii? It's a warm cold. And bring up Brian's comment. If you want to talk about warm cold, here it was 90 degrees on the weekend, I believe. It was Friday or Saturday, something like that, or right before. It was 90 degrees right before this cold weather came in. The next day it was 30 with like the wind chill and everything knocking it into the 20s. That's the only thing that I hate. It can't just be 50, 40, 60. It has to be hot as hell or cold as hell. Like it goes from 90 to 30 within a day. Mid 80s in Hawaii. They got the nice weather over there. The only thing I don't like is when it gets cold here, it rains a lot or like drizzles. That's not fair. We should all just go to Hawaii, open up some HVAC companies out there and live in the nice weather. Oh man. HVAC too. Maybe you can hire a chiller tech and have him take care of the chillers. Okay, I was gonna say like, but to find one now, if Jason wants to move down here, but I don't know if I can pay Dyke and money. But um, I'm I have trust issues with people doing even what I do, and I consider what I do simple. Light commercial work to me is pretty simple, and that's honestly why I stay in that corner of the trade. So like if I don't trust somebody with like a walk-in or a small reach-in, I'm not gonna trust a new guy with not a new guy, but like somebody I don't know with a chiller, especially at one of our um longest customers at the hospital, but at least for the kitchen stuff, and then get a bad name or a bad rap out of it. So that's the hard part. That's why I think now we're finally gonna hire people, but it's gonna be so we can train them. Like they don't have any bad habits, they don't have any this or that. There's been guys that want to work for us, but like I can't I can't afford to get like a whole fleet of like really good technicians either. Like they're gonna want the big bucks, and like I can probably only afford one of those. Let's see. The veto vote. No, tote. Oh, the tote. I guess we're gonna stay on the this is a veto episode, I guess. But the veto tote. I like the I think it's called the CT, the cargo tote, the CTXL. I throw a bunch of motors in there, contactors, whatever I need, spare wires, and I just rope it up. So that's what I'm saying. They could come out with anything. You never know. Because I was surprised with the catalog myself. Because I don't get all the information from them. They just tell me what they want me to know, or they want a certain video done. Then that's what I get the insight on. But I don't get every little detail. And they had a rolling tool bag, which is like a mechanic bag, and they had the infrared lineup. I didn't know about that. And they have a lot. Like I had a phone call from them. They have a lot of crap coming out that is not even. Yeah, it's not even in the catalog. So you never know. They have a tote, like Jamie says, and then I have a kangaroo pouch in my van, and that thing has been like a lifesaver. You just hang it up, it goes on the wall, and it can hold cans and bottles, and like it has all these extra pouches. So like Vito has everything. Adrian, are you using the field piece meter? I'm using field piece, but I want to switch over to the UEI meter. Looking into the DL599 or 99. Um, I've heard, I see a lot of people with the UEI. The only one I would get, let me see what that one looks like. It's because like I see people with the blacked out version, and that one looks pretty dope. But that was like a special edition. I forgot for what. All right, who else makes, or anybody in the chat, because there's quite a bit of people now. What's your go-to meter? What brand or what kind or what specific meter? Like, is it a Fluke, field piece? Is it the UEI? I see the UEI quite a bit now. Um, I know Subco had one, like a Redfish, I believe it was called. There's quite a few of them. I've always had field piece, so like when I started, I mean, they told me what to buy at the trade school that I went to, but like they started me out on a field piece LT 16A or 17A. The only thing I didn't like is I don't know why they had us buy that one. I would have preferred a clamp meter, but like it did everything. You just had to get the special attachments and all that. So I've only known field piece since I was in school. My dad is a Fluke guy, and I think he wanted to buy like a newer one recently. There was a Fluke that I actually kind of liked. I don't remember which one it was. My dad's a Fluke guy. I ended up being a field piece guy myself, so that's all I've ever known. But my dad has the Fluke. I don't know what they're called. It's not the HVAC one. It's like the one that has like the prongs, so you can kind of read without opening, having to open up like a jaw or clamp. It's just the two probes on the end for like the amps and stuff. So he has that one. He just like puts it everywhere. I think there's some now that do actual voltage. I don't know if it's low voltage or what, but like Fluke has some cool stuff. I'm not gonna lie. The 902 FC for everyday HVAC. That's probably the one I was. That's probably the one that I've seen. Yeah, a lot of people have that one. Pretty solid for HVAC. The T600, 480, 480. Big baller over here has the 480 and the Fluke 902. The 902 is a clamp meter. No, I know that's the one that a lot of the HVAC guys have. My dad has a totally different one. He doesn't do HVAC, if you didn't know, or if guys didn't know. Oh yeah, that's the one. The T 600. That's the one that he has. And he broke like a really old one of that one, the Fluke. I tried to give him a field piece. He was really like, I'm gonna start using field piece, whatever. Like you use it, so I'll use it. He gave it to somebody else, and he went and bought another Fluke. So that's his meter, the T600. Yeah, the Fluke 887V. Oh, he had that one too. Yeah, dude, how many meters do you guys have? Oh, I feel like I've seen this one too, the 376. The 902, that's what the trade school I went to supplied us with. I rock the Dante rocks it, the Fluke 325 for everyday because it's compact. I prefer the field piece 440 for the price and features. Gotcha. Yeah, like some of the Fluke ones, especially like the clamp meters. I mean, they do what you need them to do, right? But I have the field piece SC 680 because I like the swivel, doing the phase rotation, all that kind of stuff. I have 6 meters. That's big baller money. That's the you know, you I'm the same way with tools. I end up buying the same tool again just because I want another one or a spare one or a newer version of one. Everybody has a tool addiction at one point. Jackal, I have a lot. When you do more control work, you need a good meter. Yeah, if you guys are, from what I've noticed, if you guys have any work that's like on the control side, that's where I see a lot of Fluke. My dad was an electrician, so I guess that's why he's into Fluke. But for the simple HVAC stuff, I've never had an issue with field piece. Nasty has a good point. You can just tell what volts and amps you got by licking your fingers and poking around. Um, my dad, I've said it on the nights show. Like I'm terrified because I've been shocked too many times. And even when I think the power's off, there's a wild leg or something like that. It happens, which is why I wear more gloves and different things. I just hate getting burnt. I would always get burned and shocked and everything. So my dad is one of those guys. Maybe because he was an electrician, he will lick his finger and start hitting wires like this one's live or this one's not live or what are you scared of? Like he's just like touching everything and I'm like I can't. I need my meter. Oh yeah, up above 600 volts. I don't get near that. I have one location that has 460 And that is the only time that I ever see anything more than 240. 460 hurts a little bit. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly why I watch a lot of Morgan's Maintenance. And I told him, I was like, dude, I love your channel. And either you're going to get me to buy something, or I'm going to just enjoy you opening up a new tool and then showing us what it does so that I don't have to buy it if I don't need it. Just like watching him showcase all the tools and everything. If you haven't, and if you love tools, go check out Morgan's Maintenance on YouTube. He has like, he goes out and buys everything like right away. So if you guys need a review, he will most likely have a tour review on something. Do you have any laser alignment tools? I have leveling tools. That's about it. 680 is wild. I used it and I can't go back now. I don't like the smaller ones. VFDs are 678. Dude, that is crazy. Chillers, high voltage. Picked up a signal generator thing the other day and it's cool stuff. It's smarter than me. That sounds like the kind of thing that like Rick over on Survival would be showing off or teaching us something on. I don't know anything about that kind of stuff. The Level app on my phone. There's a lot of times I forget that we have this kind of stuff on our phones. I have the but I don't think it works. I have the Danfoss apps, and there's like one for like checking solenoids and stuff like that. I feel like that thing goes off just everywhere. But there's apps for a lot of things. Yeah, I went into his live stream the other day and everybody was like asking me about the VETO stuff. And it's funny. He was like, I need some inside information on the new tools or the new tool bags, but I was like, I don't know anything. Later, Ethan. Thanks for stopping by. I'm downloading that. I have no idea. Well, the I don't know if it's the same app. I have like several from Danfoss. There's like a Danfoss app, and then there's another one that says like refrigeration tools, I think, and it's like a separate app. But it has like the PT charts. It has the I could just pull it up. It has a few different things that might be helpful. Let's see. Danfoss refrigeration tools. So it has a PT chart. It has a GWP tool, a magnetic tool, which is that one that I said for the solenoid. Like you can tell when it has a magnetic field, which I don't know. I like the keychain ones better. I feel like this one always just spins, and then if there's too many things close to it, it just goes off. A TXV superheat tuner, and then a link to their podcast. But yeah, everything's on your phone now. I don't know how many three-phase disconnects I've found with only one leg bypassing the disconnect. I think that's happened to me too, but I can't tell you how many disconnects I've found that are just completely bypassed. So that's one of the things that I tell the new guys, or when I train my brother and stuff. Make sure that you check for power on every leg every time. I don't care if you turned a breaker off, you turned a disconnect off. You never know, because I've turned off breakers to change out like a defrost timer, and then like one of the legs is still alive, and it throws me back. What is up, Luis? I've been watching your videos for some time now. Keep up the good work. You and other tech videos motivate me to push myself into bigger projects. I've always said everything's the same. So, like, if you're talking about, like, taking on bigger things or taking on different kinds of equipment than what you're not used to, it is all the same. It is all refrigeration cycle. I used to be a little bit intimidated going from like a small little cooler to like a big RTU, stuff like that. Not until I kind of sat back and just, I'm like, okay, we have compressors, we have fan motors, we have TXVs. It's all the same. So, like, I've been beat down so many times, trying to wrap my head around like all the new stuff, digital, going digital, going to boards, going to multiple things, but they're just on the electrical side, it's just inputs and outputs, stuff like that, transformers, contactors, switches. That was a big thing for me to realize. All of these things are just switches, whether it's a safety, like a low pressure, high pressure switch, contactors, thermostats. It's all a switch. It just gets activated by temperature or some reading, and then it opens or it closes. And that's about it. All the refrigeration cycle, it has to do the same cycle for every kind of equipment, no matter how big or small it is. Unless you get really up into like industrial stuff, then it's like other components like water and stuff like that. But the stuff that I deal with is all the same system or all the same cycle. Ice machines are just like on a time. You got to time them for different things. A certain pre-chill, freeze cycle, harvest time. That's the only thing that I have to take into account for ice machines. And after I realized that, it was pretty simple. I don't want to say I get bored, but like now it's like, okay, I can either fix it or I can't. And if I can't, it's because it's like way past, like it's that old. But I've been surprised. I fixed an R12 unit a few months ago or last year, um, that I didn't want to fix, but it was fixable. We did it. A lot of that older equipment can still run if you know how to work on it. The refrigerant slider. Yeah. I have a lot of them. I think even my Johnstone app, because I'm always looking up parts. Because I feel like sometimes the counter guys don't know what I'm talking about, and I have to show them the part that I need. Um, or I just order them myself now, because a lot of the kids there, like, they'll give me the wrong stuff. Even that Johnstone app has a PT chart, but I don't like to use it for that. So I download a dedicated PT chart that I can just go in. It's already open. Click what I need to click, and then get my saturation temperatures and all that, and just figure out what I need to figure out, because so many damn refrigerants that we got to deal with now. I feel like it never works for me. I got a bad defective phone or something. What is up, Keeper? Creeper? My bad. The old Friday night special. Oh yeah. Every time I find something like that, I'm like, Okay, maybe it was a late Friday. They had to go, and that's why everything's bypassed. Seen that before. The apartment industry is horrible for bypassed breakers. It's all the DIY stuff. There you go. Switches and loads. That's all it is. That's all electrical is. I struggled so much with the electrical part, and I still second guess myself from time to time, only to realize that, I was right, all along. It just, I don't know. I have to second guess it. Maybe because I've been shocked too many times, but that's me. Has anybody taken the I think that's California, the C20 license? I'm not in California. Every state is different. So for mine, I have a list of books and code books, whatever you call them. Um, that my because mine was through PSI, right? PSI exams. So if you go to the website, I don't know if it's the same or what states are the same. If you go to that website and you register and all that, it gives you what books, what editions they accept. Because here it's an open book test for your contractor's license. So gives you all the books that you need and that are accepted for you to take in and just study because or the only thing that I did to get my license and all that was I took it. I knew I was gonna have to take it a few times, so like that was just me. I was like, I know I'm not gonna pass this on the first go. I went in there to kind of see how it was, like what the questions look like and all that, and then I had to go in there like about 3 times and finally got it. So I'll, now, do I remember all the stuff that I was tested on? Was it all HVAC refrigeration related or anything to what I do now? Not really. It's a lot of codes. It's a lot of specific things, like especially for the time that you take it or the time the books were made, and business stuff and like all these other things that I didn't. And like gas, like we don't even see gas, or I don't see gas. So like I don't see certain things in my line of work, but it's like a very general test, and probably didn't need to know more than half of that thing, but I took it a few times and learned each time that I took it to eventually pass, which I was so pissed because I think I got like all 60s when I failed it. I never bombed it. I just always got like 68 or 65 or whatever it was. And then I think when I passed it, I got like an 80 something. What else you got in that suitcase? Total Tech. Like, can you imagine? I mentioned it out loud one time, but I didn't count. Like, how many refrigerants are we gonna have to carry? Especially the guys that do like more than residential work, like the commercial world refrigeration stuff. Right now, I just pick and choose. I have to leave some of the stuff here at the shop. Mainframe got certified today. Congrats. Lead poisoning training. See, I mean, I don't want to run this too long. I know we've probably cut it off around an hour. But how many guys still like would enforce guys to learn analog, or how many guys still believe that you need to learn analog and you know would discourage a new guy from getting digital stuff? I used to be like that, but like with how many refrigerants we have to deal with now, I don't see a point in analog anymore. I'm I'm okay with the guys getting digital. I'm okay with everybody getting probes, and it's just too much to keep up with. I think you still need to know how to get there. So know the formula of superheat and subcool, and just understand that you have to look at the temperatures, your saturated, like all of that before the PSI number. That's my biggest pet peeve is people that don't look at people that don't look at the temp, and they try to give me the PSI, or they talk about PSI and this and that. I was like, what's a temp? Like, you need to know the temp. You need to know your saturation. You need to understand, like that and dew point and all that kind of stuff, and what subcooling does, high or low, and what superheat does, high or low. But at this point, like, yeah, like a physical PT chart is difficult to have. I know you're talking about the superheat slider, but like I'm talking about like PT charts and analog gauges, like they are pretty much useless at this point. You will always have to do a conversion unless you buy a new analog set every other year now, or whatever it is, when they make new ones for the new refrigerants. So like I really don't like analogs anymore. Jason, we're not allowed to carry refrigerants on our trucks. EPA sheets for every job you touch the refrigerant on, even maintenance checks. uh, I can relate with you there. I remember going up because I'm in South Texas, right by the Mexico border down here. So any trip that we made up to like San Antonio, or anything up north where it's like a 4-hour drive, and then like to get around town, boom, you had to have somebody in the passenger seat was always the map person, right? With my family, it had to be me. I had to read a map, get my dad some directions, and help him out. You miss that exit, you miss that turn, he's gonna chew you out, right? Um, when I went up with my friends, like I still grew up when I started driving, like we still had to use a map, a paper map. So like when we went up there, it was all of us, 18-year-olds, whatever, like trying to figure out where the hell we're going. And um, yeah, now everything's on the phone. I'm okay with that. I grew up doing all the hard work back in the day. It's important to understand, but I'll take graphed digital data over analog spot checks. Yeah, I just don't feel like it's very accurate, especially when you're trying to figure out something too. Because I only do service and troubleshooting, so like I'm not getting super technical with it, but because I know some people like that when you have a restriction, the needle dances or whatever it is. But like on an analog, at least on a digital probe or whatever it is, as long as it's a good set and you can actually see it in real time, you'll catch all that stuff. Okay, I'm not that old. Forgot about the bag phone, the CB radio. Um, yeah, like making phone calls all the time. I I don't take for granted that nowadays I can just text the supply house. I can just send a picture. I can send a model number or a picture of it. Send a picture of like if it's like something unusual or weird about the unit, I can send all that stuff over ahead of time instead of making those trips, trying to make those calls, going back and forth, trying to figure out what the hell you're doing. And I had better service with the bag phones than the new phones. Yeah, I get dead spots all the time. Um, but yeah, back in the day, just trying to make all those phone calls. Practical gadgeteer with the complete communicator. It would take his messages and then call his pager. Man, my dad had a beeper. I had a pager. Um, I think for like a year or two, like when they were still being used, and then like I ended up getting those brick Nokia phones. I remember all that stuff. Yeah, you mean if you I'd rather have a digital reading, and like you said, if you need to kind of monitor it, the graphs are a good way to go about it. But I use that even on like ice machines. It helps me a lot to know the exact pressure and what it does as I'm running, time on it. Like I need to know how long this took. I need to see what the pressure looked like, and it's just, I don't know. I would rather do digital, and if I have new guys, I'm okay with them going the digital route. Jason, I used to get a whole roll of quarters every morning from dispatch so I could use the payphones. Nasty over here uses a tinfoil of hats to communicate with his team. All right, I'm gonna go through the chat a little bit here. I think I had missed something. Battery at my in my Nokia is still at 95%. I believe it. You know, it's funny. I got made fun of at school for having those big ass Nokia phones. But who's the only person that had a phone at after school when like, all the kids that didn't get picked up were waiting for their parents? Hey, can I borrow that phone? Oh, that phone that you made fun of me for? Sure. Oh yeah, make a good point here. Dante, analog for dirty racks, setting some pressure controls, and then you use digital for everything else. So I use analogs as a backup. I use analogs if I know a system has like die, or like you said, it's an old system or it's a dirty system. Like you sacrifice those analogs before you put your digital ones on. Oh man, the good old days. Caden currently on a call with gas being restored to the building. Big air handler that's older than me with a Hastings burner. Pilot needs lit, but don't have the traditional valve. Can't shut down the unit. Well, I hope you get that figured out. Oh, dude, I remember that. A certain amount of minutes, a certain amount of text messages too, when that was first like out. And then you needed those that free evening of to be able to do all your calls and everything with your buddies. The screen from the Titan Max on the yellow jacket. That's a hybrid one, right? It's like I think it's colored too. Titan Max. It's just an odd shape, but it literally looks like a tablet. Like that's kind of the what you see in a lot of the apps. but it's on your gauges on the yellow jacket. I remember something about incoming calls. I don't remember though. Don't date yourself, Jason. All right, guys. Yeah, I don't remember either. There was a lot of little rules about having those phones. I really enjoyed those flip phones, and then you had to learn T9 to do the texting. I don't think my kids nowadays could do the T9 thing. And it was frustrating as hell, but I did it. I learned how to do it. I did a lot of text messaging with it, and those were the days. Really, they're $1,000? Oh yeah, they are. What is that compared to field piece? Field piece is like 700, 800. I think you can get them really cheap on True Tech or cheaper. Who else has? Hey, what's up, Capital Coast, Mick? My first Motorola flip phone. Yeah, I had that one for the longest time. Who else makes good um digital manifolds? Is it Navac or is it no, I don't oh, I don't think I like Navax. Yeah, they do. What do you call it? Predictive or autocorrection? Text or speech to text now. They do all that. Oh, Testo. Testo has really good ones. Oh yeah, the Navac ones are ugly. I'd say go Testo or Fieldpiece. Personally, they've all gone up in price. Yellow Jacket. Testo only comes out for nitrogen and pressure tests. Jason went straight from analog to probes. I have a set just for like new equipment. So like when I'm doing a new install and I just want to like vacuum, well not vacuum with it, but like I'm doing the vacuum and then I want to start charging it up and stuff. I don't know why I prefer a manifold for the most part. Sometimes I'll use the pros, but I really prefer to use the manifold on like new startups and stuff like that where we're like weighing in a charge and doing all that. Unless it's like an ice machine or something really small, then I'll use the probes. But I prefer to use the probes for service and then like the manifold for startups. Tom, I'm not gonna lie, Elitech, whatever they have, they're all pretty good, affordable options. If you like the scale looks a lot like Phil Piece's scale. Their digital manifolds look a lot like the Testos. So they're very comparable to a lot of them, and their leak detector looks a lot like Hillmore's, which I really love the Hillmore one. I did have a leak detector from Elitech. I gave it to one of my techs. He said it's been perfect. It finds leaks and he's had no issues with it. So Elitech, besides the bright orange color, they're a good affordable option. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, you got a good point. Transducers. Yeah. I don't use it as much as I used to, but I have it, so I'm gonna use it. The only time I might have to use it for recovery is on these Cormax carrier. Well, Cormax RTUs. I know I can use a 3/8 hose or whatever it is with a quarter presser, so I've been trying to go about that route instead, but I don't know. I still like using the manifold for stuff like that. They started paying for used 410 at the part. Really? Dang. Used 410 at the parts house. Got to get that beer money. That's crazy. Now, which quarter pressers are you using? I'm trying. I got the Appion ones. I freaking hate Cormaxes like with a passion. If it's a hot, if it's a hot like summer day, then it's very difficult. I got to get that bucket of ice to put the tank in. That's just what I do, and it works for the most part. Appion all day. I think that's the only ones. Those are the only ones I would trust because I've seen other quarter pressers and they just look like they're gonna break. Like that's just the way they look. The Appion ones I would trust, and those are the ones that I have. I just don't know where I left the damn gaskets if it came with any, and I'm gonna have to buy some because they're all ripped to shreds. I need to buy like a kit. I've used my Testo, but I love my S-Man field piece. Me too. Yo, what's up, Gonzi? Bucket of ice. Haven't had to get a subcooler yet, but it'd be kind of cool. Part for recovered refrigerant. If they aren't paying you, they are probably keeping that reclaim money. I recycle because I deal with a lot of now let me say I will reuse my own refrigerant if I need to. I'll use it first. But and that's like on older systems and stuff like that. Like I try not to reuse it for newer stuff, but like if I have a clean tank and I'm recovering, I'll reuse it. Now, if I have a tank of like older systems, it's like especially like R22 when it was more popular. I never knew what was going to be in that system because nobody labels anything. So I would always recycle it or turn it in as mixed refrigerant. Because I'm like, I told them, I'm more than sure it's going to be mixed because everybody here just mixes everything. Bucket or bag preference. If you're talking to me, I fill up a bucket with ice and then I throw or put the recovery tank in a bucket and throw ice on it. But I do refrigeration work for like restaurants, so ice is readily available. I can just get it from their ice machines. So that's what I use. All right, so I am gonna shut this down. I appreciate everybody for coming out. Uh, a lot of you came out to the live stream. I appreciate you guys. Thanks again to the sponsors. Remember, make sure I'll keep doing the live streams when I can up until AHR, and then we'll kick off some new episodes. I have a lot of great guests coming up, and some of them will be at the AHR Expo, so we'll do a show there as well. Monday afternoon at 2, we have HVAC nights at the Podcast Pavilion at the AHR Expo, and then Wednesday morning at 9, I have my podcast with some special guests and a special announcement. So go check that out if you can. Check the law on that. You can only use reclaimed refrigerants on this. Well, yeah, I do on the same job site. Like if I'm reclaiming it, it's to reuse it there. And most, like, it's just taking it out, doing something, and then putting it back in. C&D valve core depressor. They are made in Oklahoma to keep the money in our state. I use some C&D stuff. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys on the next one.